Kensington Palace have declared that what the Princess of Wales is wearing on engagements that aren't state visits and what they call big occasions won't be revealed in future. I can't help thinking that this is a mistake. The Princess of Wales is the world's most glamorous royal. There's no doubt about it. Also, she has a tremendous effect on fashion. The reason given is that this is the lighter side of things, and it detracts from the serious business, which she's involved in, of course, in particular engagements. I mean, she's done absolutely brilliantly. And one knows the almost terrifying pressures she must have been under in the last year, which Prince William has called brutal, unquestionably. But the facts are that, as I see it anyway, the fashion and the more serious aspect of things, I see them as complementary because of what she's wearing. It helps tremendously to get a higher profile for the engagement. She's responsible for the Kate effect. That's been worth billions, I suspect, for the British economy. I mean, the Daily Telegraph has given fashion industries some 37 billion, it's quoted. There's no doubt established designers benefit enormously from her patronage, but also, and most particularly, those less well known. And the facts are that I can't see that this is going to make any real difference, because if someone looks as fabulous as she does, in the way that she does, both formal and informal, people will continue to be fascinated by her. And in this case, I think if there's no official guidance, there'll be debates on Twitter and, what would this accessory mean? What did she wear that for? And so on. So I really cannot see that this is going to be beneficial. I do see that what she wears so often is at the level of, she's an icon, and iconic outfits such as the Trooping the Colour, for example. Last year she wore a Jenny Packham outfit and also a Philip Tracy hat, and they paid tribute to the Audrey Hepburn Ascot scene in My Fair Lady. It's absolutely stunning. Also, the gold dress at 2021 at the premiere of the James Bond film No Time to Die, truly fabulous. I have an interest in fashion. I used to cover London Fashion Week, and I've always regarded it as something that's greatly assisted the profile internationally of the royal family. Of course, people are somewhat obsessive about it, the media is, but I can't help thinking that this is something that's truly valuable, and it's something that, irritating though it may be that certain journalists make a serious engagement, make a certain amount of light comment on it. One thinks of Diana. I mean, she was an absolute genius when it came to, on the one hand, weaponizing fashion. On the other hand, she hated being regarded as a clothes horse. Would that she could have had it both ways, since she gave so much to so many. But the facts were, of course, that it was not to be. But I do, and believe me, I think we all do, wish the serious work of the Princess of Wales well, and it's been so wonderful to see her in so many engagements recently. I loved the way she interacted with the children at the National Portrait Gallery. But fashion icon she is, and nothing will change that. And on the subject of someone who I think would like to be an icon, but certainly isn't, well, there is Meghan, and actually it was a rather sweet post I thought she put on Instagram, because I was a starstruck teenager once, and I had a crush on Elizabeth Taylor, who was later made a dame. And indeed I was thrilled when editor of International Who's Who that I got a signed letter from her. But we all go through phases, I think, like that. And Meghan talked of the tragic story with these terrible wildfires in California, of a mother and a 15-year-old girl. They'd lost their home, and what particularly saddened the teenager was she treasured Billie Eilish t-shirt had been destroyed. Well, Meghan pulled some celebrity strings and got another signed t-shirt and Billie Eilish merchandise. And it is a sweet story, and yes, it is a question of doing good. The problem is, Meghan and Harry have been called disaster tourists. You could argue that they'd lose either way for those who don't trust them. But how could they expect to be trusted, given the way they've monetized their royal connections so brutally and treated the royal family? And quite honestly, the expose in Vanity Fair recently, we had those allegations. Meghan has strongly denied them before, of bullying. It's not very pretty. Invictus is coming up, of course, but many challenges await the Sussexes. And that includes, of course, something I thought was done and dusted last September, when a judge ruled that it wasn't in the public interest to release the visa application form, which Harry, now in the United States, he regards it, he said, as his home. His visa application form, the Biden administration certainly didn't wish us to see it. The court were heard from the Heritage Foundation, a right-wing think tank, and their point was that Harry had written in his memoir Spare about taking drugs and discussed it, of course, in television interviews promoting it. This is supposed to be, or to prevent you from entering the United States, although in reality there's a good deal of leeway. Under the previous administration, they certainly didn't want to proceed with this. The expectation here was that there might be a change under Donald Trump's administration. Now he's in the Oval Office, as he's certainly no friend of the Sussexes. He said, I think it was last year, about Harry, I wouldn't protect him. He and made comments about the way he disrespected Queen Elizabeth, and that there might be an investigation into it. My own feeling, because the judge is reconsidering the case, the Department of Homeland Security will be in touch apparently regarding certain parts of the application form that may be made public. Will it include those relevant to drug taking? I have a feeling that it won't, because Donald Trump values the royal family. Harry is still fifth in line to the throne. It would be very embarrassing, even though there's a deep rift, as we all know, if for some reason there were any moves made to expel him from the United States or deport. Would that boat hold in Portugal become useful? The facts simply are that we don't know. I doubt it. I think it will not be followed. What will be is the King and Queen's visit to Italy and the Vatican. That will be fascinating. And it was wonderful at Highgrove to see an Italian, have an Italian evening. The cuisine sounds fantastic. what was also fascinating was the likes of Stanley Tucci, Dame Helen Mirren, and David and Victoria Beckham were there. He should get a knighthood. It should happen in the next honours list, which is the King's birthday honours in June. That must happen. He is a great Britain.